Yo guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another review on a prime icon Henrik Larsson. This came from a comment request that's going to pop up above my head somewhere. We're going to get into the player, his details, stats, traits, his clips, summary, as well as our icon profile. But before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below who you'd like me to review next. There are a couple in the queue, so please do bear with me guys. I am making them, some of them take a little longer like the versus series, but they are coming, so don't worry. Please just keep throwing them at me and I'll keep trying to make them as fast as I can. Without further ado, let's get into this review. Getting into this card, Henrik Larsson, I played him in this formation here, played him at the spearhead of that, and a 4-2-3-1 as well as my usual formation, which I switched to in game. First impressions of this card, guys. Initially it took me 2 games to figure out exactly what was wrong with this card because I really disliked using him. His passing and his dribbling were really bad, and that was really holding me back from using this card properly because his pace and shooting, and actually something that's really surprising, his strength, was very good. So when I finally managed to figure out how to use him, that made him a whole of a lot better for me. Getting into the card, 5'10", high work rates. That's something not ideal for a striker, but again isn't too bad considering that you can see here his stamina is 86. It does get a bit worn out by the end of the game, but overall I don't think the high work rates are too bad. Right-footed, 3-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot, so not ideal for skillers, but the 4-star weak foot is pretty decent. You'll see some good left-footed finishes in the clips that we'll get into later. 5 games played, 9 goals scored and 4 assists, so a really good haul overall considering I said his passing wasn't that good. What I ended up getting with him in terms of assists and laying plays off and creating chances, he was actually very good for that. He turned out to be very usable, very reasonable in that department as well. Getting into the chemistry style, guys, and this is the biggest thing for this card. You need to pick the right chemistry style that will fit this card and boost what you need to boost on him. Originally when I bought this card, he had a hunter on him. I then tried a hawk on him in the next game, and then I switched to an artist, and that was the best one for me because it boosts the stats, which he is the weakest at. Getting into his stats, his pace, 92 acceleration, that's a real pro there, 92 jumping and 96 heading accuracy. Now guys, I don't have any heading clips for you, unfortunately. I got some after I finished using it in the games I was playing afterwards, where he did win some really nice headers. I've got one kicking from the goal kick, winning a header there as well, so that'll be something you guys get to see. He does win headers off the goal kicks. Very nice to have that option instead of having to play it out to your fullbacks. Another great thing about this card is his finishing, 93 finishing. Unfortunately a bit offset by the composure, but that is obviously one of the cons of this card. Now, the other thing I want to say, guys, about this card, which is surprising, and it's not something that really gets shown a lot on this card, and I think it's because of his balance. Again, I'm unsure, but his strength is higher than it seems. He's able to hold off defenders. His aggression maybe helps there as well with this, allowing him just to stay on the ball a little longer than you would expect for a slight and small striker. It's not like he's going shoulder to shoulder with the big defenders and holding them off, but he's not necessarily just being shoved out the way like other strikers would be who are a bit smaller like he is. Getting into the cons, guys. Now, again, something is off with the dribbling, and I don't know what it is. I think it might actually be his ball control or dribbling stat, which means that he feels a little bit clunky on the ball. If you want him to be a bit more meta, I would recommend putting on something that boosts his dribbling. Again, once I stuck on the artist, he played absolutely brilliantly for me, and that's really where he started to do a lot of his work. And his passing is the other big con of this card for me, guys. Although the composure is only 84, it's usable, it's fine. The passing is a real issue, and it says 78 and 73. It feels so much lower than that, especially for the longer passing. His longer passing feels like it's somewhere in the 40s or 50s, and that's really not great when you're trying to play a longer through ball or a longer pass down the line, or just even a longer X pass. You know, you really are finding an issue with that in terms of playing those simple passes with him. The short passing is usable, it's fine, you know, you can link up play reasonably well with him, but he did struggle a lot with the longer passes. Hence, again, why I put the artist chemistry style on him. It really boosted every factor of his passing and allowed me to play a little better with him. Although I would say, of course, you should be boosting the key stats of this card to make him elite in that level. Once you boost the other parts of this card, I really don't feel like he needs that much in terms of shooting and pace, and being the prime icon that he is and the stats that he has around those categories. Again, I feel like it's more than adequate for this card. Getting into the traits, he has the finesse shot trait, team player, and chip shot trait. I did have some finishes where they were a bit poor. Now, some of them are down to me, some of them are actually down to his composure. You'll see that in the card, but these are a couple of nice traits. I wish he had the outside of the foot shot trait, but it doesn't really matter too much because he has the 4-star weak foot, so we don't have to rely on his outside of the foot shot that much. It would just be nice to have it, considering that, again, he does have decent finishing stats. It would be nice to have that in this card. Finally, this was in the season where he joined Celtic. He was the Scottish League Player of the Year. I will leave you guys to read that in your own time, and that's it. So without further ado, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Henrik Larsson's clips here, and guys, one thing I would say about this card is you have to remember the price point that you're paying for and what you're paying for. So he's 620 right now, or about there, on the PlayStation and the Xbox, and what you're paying for here is you're paying for icon links and reasonably good finishing. Now guys, this card is not a world beater. He will not score every chance you give him. He misses some easy chances as well, as you guys will see later on in some of these clips. But what you do get is a reasonably good finisher and of course link ability throughout your squad, and that's really what you're paying for with this card. I mean, he doesn't have bad dribbling, guys. I mean, you can see from some of the clips his dribbling is pretty decent. He's just not particularly good at the dribbling aspect of the game. His shot power could be a little better as well, guys, and that was something that I really struggled with at times, although you will see a couple of powerful finishes. What I did struggle with this card was just getting enough power into those shots to really smash them past the keeper cleanly. I think that makes a massive difference in terms of just being able to finish the chances, because a lot of the time he was getting clean through and missing chances like that because of poor composure, or not converting them because the keeper's managing to palm them out. I think with a bit more power that's going past the keeper before he can react. Guys, overall though as well, one thing I would say is that he is a reasonably decent passer and playmaker in and around that striker spot. You can see here that's 3 assists he's already got to Suarez, and I believe he will have a couple more as the clips carry on. That's something that's really nice to have as well. Just have a striker that can link up the play, set up chances for his teammates, and make things easy in general for your attack. This clip here, guys, is something I wanted to include very specifically, because something that's really strong about his card is that he can head off the goal kicks and get the ball quite easily from goal kicks as well, so you don't have to play it short on every attempted pass out of the goal kicks. You can play it a little longer and win those headers with him. Now that chance there was a massive chance missed, and that was an easy chance. I set up for that slowly and created it, and he just missed it like that. I mean, I don't really know what happened there, but no harm, no loss there, as he does go on to score an absolute bag full of goals. Some of these finishes are really clean and tight. You can see the power there on one of the shots, but in general, the shots aren't particularly powerful. They're just really good finishes. Not particularly precise, but just good finishes. This clip here surprised me. I was surprised he even got the ball, and then a lovely finish just over the keeper there to keep it nice and simple as well. And I think, guys, that's the key thing with this card, is not to overcomplicate it with this card. With other cards, certainly other strikers like maybe Raul, you can overcomplicate things a little bit, or complicate things and still get away with it. But with this card, you really can't. You have to keep things simple. Straight line running again is what I would recommend. I mean, his turning is okay, but it's not elite. I wouldn't recommend you start trying to do crazy dribble maneuvers with him. You can get away with a simple turn like that and getting into the box past the challenge and scoring an easy goal, but in general I wouldn't recommend it. Finally, guys, for these last two clips here, you're just going to see another couple of decent finishes. That one there, right foot into the bottom corner, and this one, a lovely smash into the back of the net. So guys, getting into the final summary for Henrik Larsson, and this is something that's really important to me, guys, is the price point and what you're paying for. Like I mentioned in the clips as well, he's 620k on the PlayStation, 600 on the Xbox, and 912 on the PC. Now, for me, this card is very expensive for what you get. I mean, you do get reasonable pace, you do get reasonably good shooting, okay dribbling, and okay passing. I wouldn't say it's anything to shout home about. In terms of the standout stats, which really do help this card, there's something about this card that makes him stronger than what he seems. I believe it might be his 82 balance, and because of his build, he's so small and slight, you're able to get away with that balance being 82 and the strength being relatively low, so that really helps the card shrug off defenders or hold off challenges just at the last moment when they try to come and take you out. Another thing that's really important to me, guys, his jumping and heading accuracy. That's really important to me that he has that. He does win headers off corners. I didn't get any for you guys in the clips, but he does win them off the goal kicks as well, and you did see an example of that in the clips there as well. Overall, guys, his finishing is pretty good, but that shot power does let him down a little bit, and his lower composure, if that was closer to the 90s, I'd be less concerned, but it is a little low, so that is something to bear in mind as well. In terms of chemistry styles, guys, you could apply a hunter to him. That would, of course, do that to his shooting. I'm not so certain he needs that. I would prefer to improve him in other areas where he needs a little bit more help. Maybe a marksman would do a little better there to improve the dribbling and shooting, so he still has his pace, and that shot power is boosted a little bit, and it gives him a little bit better in the dribbling department as well. Alternatively, you could chuck a maestro on him. That boosts all 3 parts of his technical game and allows you to really experiment with this card up front and play him as a complete striker rather than a striker who's very limited in some parts of his game. Alternatively, you could use something like an engine, boost that pace, give him really elite pace, good dribbling, and reasonably decent passing. So guys, there's a lot of options with this card. My recommended one would be Maestro. I'd recommend you boost all the technical elements of his game and use him as a link-up striker. I think that's the way you get the best out of him. But guys, if you prefer another chemistry style, you think he's better with something else, please do chuck it in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think about this as well. Finally, getting into his link ability and similar players. Now, similar players, I would say this Gage is quite similar. He's not as good as Dybala, maybe the regular Dybala as well, something like that. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as any of these guys on the top row here. He's definitely a tier below those. Gage is probably the closest shout I would give him, maybe slightly better in the shooting department than him, of course, but very similar overall in every other aspect. In terms of linkability, of course, guys, you've got great links to all the icons, and of course a key link to one of our favorite players, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Whether you guys like him or love him, that is a card that you can link with this player, so it's nice to have that option there to put him maybe into a Serie A hybrid as well. Overall, guys, would I recommend buying this card? It's a tough one, guys. I wouldn't say he's worth the price. I would certainly say he's more worth the price than other strikers, say Shevchenko, who will be coming out in the future. You guys will see that review as well. I think he's definitely more worth it than say that striker. But there are a lot of strikers that you can pick up who would be cheaper. So what you're really paying for here is the linkability factor. I think there's a lot of other options that you can pick up which are far better linkability options and give you a lot more diversity even across the leagues. Of course, his Swedish nation doesn't give you a lot of strong links there, so it's something that you'd have to play off of with a Forsberg from the Bundesliga or a Zlatan in Serie A. It's really difficult to link that in. I think you're better off going for someone like a Rivaldo, who maybe, although he doesn't have a weak foot, has a lot better of an overall game in terms of technical ability and is able to link into a bunch of Brazilian players across a bunch of leagues. Yeah, that would be my kind of recommendation, guys. Is if you really want this card, go for it. He's not great linkability wise. It wouldn't be my personal recommendation to go out and buy this card. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button, and until next time, I'll see you all in a bit.